So you've probably clicked on this thumbnail thinking this cannot possibly be true. If you drive off from a petrol station having filled up your car with petrol and did not pay, then surely that is theft. Well, for the reasons I'll outline in this video, if someone was stealing petrol at a petrol station by driving off after filling up, then there may be difficulties in proving the criminal offence of theft. To explain why, we first need to look at the elements of theft, and that is dishonestly appropriating property belonging to another with the intention to permanently deprive the owner of it. Now, dishonestly means words to the effect of, was the conduct of the defendant dishonest by the standards of ordinary people? Now, dishonest is given its normal dictionary meaning of untrustworthy, deceitful, or insincere. Appropriating means taking possession of and dealing with the property as an owner. Now, property itself is fairly self-explanatory, but there are some definitions of things that are and are not property, but petrol would class as property. Belonging to another, again, is self-explanatory, and with the intention of permanently depriving the owner of it. This means taking it, intending for it never to be given back, so this excludes things like borrowing. So why then is stealing petrol not necessarily theft? The problem with charging someone who has driven off without paying is that it might be difficult to prove that the defendant never intended to pay before filling up their car, without a confession or other evidence as to the defendant's state of mind at the time of originally obtaining the petrol. And remember, it is the prosecution who must prove each and every element of the offence in order to find the defendant guilty. So where does that leave us? Well, before you all rush out and start stealing petrol from a petrol station, there is another charge designed specifically for this type of offending. One where if someone fills up their car with petrol and drives away, or orders a meal, consumes it and then leaves without paying. And this is the offence of making off without payment and is contrary to section 3.1 of the Theft Act 1978. Now, the elements of the offence of making off without payment are: goods are supplied or services are done for the defendant knows that payment on the spot is required, the defendant dishonestly makes off from the spot where payment is required, without paying as required or expected, and they do so with the intention of avoiding the payment. So if we take the example of filling up a car, you are supplied with petrol, that's goods and services supplied. You know that you need to pay after filling up, so the defendant knows that payment on the spot is required. You act dishonestly in leaving the petrol station without paying as you are required to do so. So that covers the third and fourth element. And you do so with the intention to avoid paying for that petrol. The maximum sentence for an offence of making off without payment is 2 years imprisonment. And if you contrast that with the offence of theft, where the maximum sentence is 7 years. Now, it's not always the case that you cannot prove theft, but there can be evidential difficulties in establishing that the defendant at the time that they took the petrol acted dishonestly. Therefore, it is much easier for the prosecution to prove the elements of an offence of making off without payment, because you can generally see by the conduct of the defendant when they fill up their car with petrol and drive off that they have satisfied all of the elements of the offence. That's it for this video. If you do have any comments, please post them down below. If you did enjoy this video, then please do give it a like. And if you'd like to see more from me, then please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.